Hi everyone, we're talking about what's happened with Bogotá's Metro Line 2 tender. This is a major infrastructure project in Colombia that has hit a wall, meaning stopped suddenly because of a serious problem. Hit a wall. Bogotá's second metro line failed to attract a bid, and the city was forced to start the whole process over again. I'll walk you through what happened, and as always, I'll explain key vocabulary, the phrasal verbs, the idioms, the expressions, naturally inside the story. This is Listen. Please share, subscribe. Here we go. Bogotá's Mayor Galán, he stood in front of the press and made a serious announcement. The city had officially declared the tender void. A tender is an official process in which the government invites companies to send offers to do a large project. When something is void, it means it's legally invalid, no legal force. So when a tender is declared void, it means the whole bidding process is cancelled and no longer counts. So why did this happen? Because no bids were submitted before the cutoff time, meaning the final deadline, the cutoff time of January the 20th, 3 days ago now. To submit a bid just means to send in a formal offer to do a job for a certain price. Galán explained that none of the pre-qualified groups, consortia, you'll hear, the pre-qualified groups, that had already passed earlier requirements, none of them had sent in a final proposal. A consortium, plural, consortia. This is a group of companies working together on one project. And as a result, the city had no choice but to restart the entire process, to begin again from zero. You'll often hear start from scratch. That just means to start again. Metro Line 2 is not a small project. It's planned as a 15.5 kilometer underground metro line, a 15.5 kilometer underground metro line, connecting Bogotá's northern and western districts with the city centre. An underground system is a transport system that runs below the surface of the city. The line is expected to include 11 stations, most of them underground, and carry up to 50,000 passengers per hour in each direction. In each direction means going both ways along the line. This makes Line 2 a key component, an essential part, a key component of Bogotá's plan to modernize public transport for a city of over 8 million residents. This is a big project. So here's something important. Even though the tender collapsed, Mayor Galán insisted that this does not jeopardize the project. To jeopardize means to put something at serious risk. He told the public this does not mean that Metro Line 2 will not go ahead. To go ahead means to continue as planned. He stressed that the city will re-tender the project through a new international bidding process starting next month, February. To re-tender is just to launch a new tender after the first one failed. It's very common. The bidding process, this is the formal system of collecting offers from companies. So in simple terms, what he's saying is the project is delayed but not cancelled. So why did everyone drop out? Well, this didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen quickly. The process began under the previous city administration, meaning the earlier city government, under former Mayor Claudia Lopez. An administration in this context is a government or a leadership team. At first, 4 consortia or 4 groups were pre-qualified in August 2023. But then problems started to happen. You can say problems started to pile up. That's when they happen quickly and frequently. 2 groups were excluded in October 2024, Excluded means officially removed from the process. Why? Because of conflicts of interest raised by competing bidders. So a conflict of interest is a situation where someone's private interests, usually private interests, may influence their professional decisions unfairly. That's a conflict of interest. And that left just two groups, the Chinese group and the Spanish group. Then we had more bad news. In October 2025, the Chinese-led group withdrew from the process. To withdraw means to formally leave a project or an agreement. The Chinese said they were worried about exchange rate volatility. The exchange rate is the value of one currency compared to another. And volatility, this is extreme or unpredictable changes. In other words, when things are going up or down quickly and unpredictably. They also mentioned financial risks, the danger of losing money or facing unstable costs, financial risks. So now we were left with one bidder. One bidder remained, the Spanish group, the Spanish consortium. The Spanish group asked the city for an extension, meaning more time to submit its proposal. So an extension is extra time added to a deadline. The city authorities declined to grant it. To decline is to refuse politely or officially. And then came the final blow. One of the Spanish consortium's key partners, Acciona, these are a major infrastructure firm, they pulled out. To pull out means to stop participating in something. This made the bid unviable. Unviable means impossible to succeed, not workable. On the same day the tender closed, the group officially filed its withdrawal notice. So, 0 bids. So what happens now? Mayor Galan says the new tender will benefit from a more mature, technical and financial structure. Mature, in this context, means more developed, more stable, better prepared. When he's talking about the technical structure, he's talking about the engineering and design aspects of the project, the design side of the project. And financial structure, this is just how the money, the loans and the costs are organized. He also said the project still has backing from multilateral lenders. This is support from international financial institutions. He said the project still has co-financing agreements. Co-financing agreements are formal deals where multiple governments or institutions share the cost. And authorities hope to award the contract, meaning officially choose a winner, in the first quarter of 2027, January, February, March of 2027. To award the contract means to formally give a project to a company. Now, meanwhile, Bogotá's first metro line is already under construction. This is an elevated system. That just means it runs above ground. And this is built by a Chinese consortium called CHEC. An elevated system is just transport built on bridges or pillars above street level. It's now about 70% complete. We are in January 2026. It's about 70% complete and expected to open in 2028. The mayor has called Line 1 a test case. A test case is something used to see whether a larger plan will work. And Metro Line 2 is a large plan. It's a big project. It's expected to cost 34.9 trillion Colombian pesos, which at today's exchange rate is around $8.9 billion. So this Line 2 is a big project. It will be fully automated. That means it will be operated by computers, not human drivers. And the line will run 25 trains, each of these 140 meters long, and it's forecasted to add 800,000 daily trips to Bogotá's transport system. When we say projected, we mean expected or forecast. The general manager of the Bogotá Metro Company said the city will now launch a global outreach campaign. An outreach campaign is an organized effort to contact and attract people or companies. He said, "We will carry out a broad international invitation." And political reactions were swift, meaning very fast. A former city councillor blamed the previous administration for structural flaws. Structural flaws are serious design or planning problems. Another councillor said geopolitical tensions, especially US-China trade disputes, had scared off companies. When people talk about geopolitical tensions, they are talking about political conflicts between countries that affect business. And Mayor Galan rejected claims that the project is at risk. He said the project remains on track. On track means progressing as planned. He said the project remains on track. I'll give you a little of the key vocabulary we use today. A tender. This is an official government bidding process. You'll hear things like the city opened a tender to build a new bridge. When something is void, this means it's legally invalid. You'll also hear null and void. So the contract was declared void or the contract was declared null and void. A consortium is a group of companies. Several firms formed a consortium, for instance. The cut-off time. This is the final deadline. The cut-off time for this particular tender process was January the 20th. A conflict of interest. This is unfair personal influence. You could say the bidder was removed due to a conflict of interest, for instance. Exchange rate volatility. This is unstable currency values. Volatility scares off investors. Things changing quickly and unpredictably. Volatility. When something is described as unviable, it means it's impossible to succeed. Without funding, projects often become unviable. Co-financing is just shared funding. The project uses co-financing, for instance. We had a few phrasal verbs in the episode. To go ahead means to continue. The project will go ahead. To pull out is to withdraw. The company pulled out. Start over means begin again. They had to start over. You'll also hear to start over from scratch. That just means right at the beginning, with nothing. To carry out is to execute. They carried out an investigation. They completed an investigation, for instance. A few idioms, sayings. Hit a wall. You heard hit a wall. That just means to stop suddenly. The negotiations hit a wall, for example. When someone refers to something as being on track, this means it's progressing well. They say things like, the project is on track, the delivery is on track. And when we start from scratch, as I say, we begin again with nothing. You'll often hear people say, they had to start from scratch. They had to begin again with nothing. And that's everything from this particular episode. Thank you for listening. This is Listen. Please share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Until then, bye-bye for now.